testing the stream here. I hope you can see it. I know I'm talking to myself, and we're going to try and keep the mask on because that sort of sticks with the brand. So let's see what we can do about testing this bad boy. Bit of an upset, actually more than just a bit of an upset here. Most people really expected to see Epping and Weigel in the final here, but Richard and Warriner pulled off the upset in the semifinal. All right, my Wi-Fi is not connected, which is ironic in many different ways. Oh, and there's a very good chance that this thing's going to blow up, but that's okay. I need to make some more changes to the network settings here. Okay, so now we should be able to do this. Oh, it's live. All right. Crank up the volume here, talk to myself. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. That's actually pretty good. All right. All right. Should have a better scoreboard. A little embarrassing that I don't have a better scoreboard, but that's okay. You're going to have to mute. One o'clock game time, yes? Thanks. Gonna live stream the final. Whole new world. All right. All right. Well, we're not going to have a camera at the far end here. We're only going to have a camera at the one side. But the price is right, so hopefully this is going to work out. All right. Is anybody here? Mr. I am Chan. Hello, I am Mr. Chan. Welcome to the chat. We're still, you can see the ice maintenance is going on here. We got Marcus, our wonderful volunteer, giving it a final nip. Should be a good game here. Certainly Jones and Laing were expected to be in the final. Audio is reasonable to quiet. Thank you, Mr. Hapdash. I wonder if I can pump up the gain on... I am going to try and keep the mask on during the presentation here. Frankly, part of the... my goal to say that you can wear masks in virtually any circumstance. I will take it off occasionally for a sip of water. But other than that, we should be okay. I've got my sound cranked. Yeah, my sound is set about as loud as I can go. So hopefully you can turn up your volume on your side, everyone. That would be good. Fairly good view here of the local house. The far house, no view, but I do have overhead cameras here that I can take advantage of to help inform you guys of what's going on. I sort of wish I could put up a proper curling scoreboard in there. If I had a little more time, I would set that up. But so be it. It's experimental, first time for everything. There's going to be a lot of curling at the KW Granite Club over the next little way. So we shall see. Oh, I got a news from a special guest, a scarf-wearing special guest. Yeah, I've got to figure... Yeah, I'm going to stream it. The Curling Geek. So I geeked it out and I attached you in the tweet. So. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Hey. All right, we're still getting people organized and excited here, but. All right. Boom. There you go. Okay, so greetings, everyone. We are going to try and see if we can get Devin Heroux to join us in the conversation here. I just don't know how the microphone is going to work. I'm not set up for two people microphoning. So, hello, Winnipeg. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate that. Yeah, I wish I had a little more time to get the technology going. But again, so be it. You know what? We're going to do a quick try here with a different microphone just for a quick test. So we've got some time here. Let's do that. So put that there. Okay, we'll do that. All right, so I am now talking to you through the laptop microphone. It tells me that my audio is okay, but maybe if you could tell me in the chat, can you hear me right now from the laptop microphone? So I'm trying to project a little bit towards it. If this works, it does sound fine. Awesome. All right, we will turn that on when Devin gets here, and he'll be able to join in. Excellent. Chat with Devin here. All right, perfect. Okay, I'm going to switch back to the headset microphone for a moment, just because I think it'll work better for most of the conversation. So 1 second here. There we go. Okay. Perfect. Okay. All right, so we're currently seeing absolutely nothing happening. For those of you who are from the KW Granite Club, I'm hoping you watched a little bit of the stream this morning and you're seeing this now. You are seeing a very new and cleaned up KW Granite Club. So people who are familiar with the club, we used to have a set of curtains at that back wall where the scoreboards are. So the scoreboards were forward about 6 feet. We had a set of blue-red curtains and a whole lot of miscellaneous junk in behind there. That all got torn out by our volunteers over the summer. Lots of, I think I heard 7 dumpsters worth of stuff was removed from the club. Cleaned all that out, painted up the scoreboards, put a frame on them, mounted them on the wall, and painted the back wall there. And it's just it's a nice clean look for the club. So we're definitely excited by that. If you could tell behind sheet 6, you can see sort of a box there. That scoreboard is forward a little bit. I understand it's probably small on your screen. They actually built effectively a little shed around there. That's the air input or output, I think, for the arena. And the air tests we did, the airflow was funny on 6. It was coming in low and going up over the sheet. So they built a tube there so the air comes in the top. And the hope is that that's going to fix some of the airflow issues and just improve the overall ice quality inside the facility. So yeah, club looks great and amazing. How's about I give you guys a quickie little tour here of the lounge. So our competitors stretching and getting ready. Ooh, yours truly. We got players in our final stretching and getting ready. Obviously, all the tables and whatnot have been removed from the building to try and help our social distancing. And I've screwed up my carefully placed camera, but that's okay. There we go. I've got a very dodgy setup here where my laptop is propped up on some old books. The camera is propped up on a chair, but we're getting it done here. So it's all a beautiful thing. If you guys will forgive me for 1 second, I'm going to go grab some fresh water so that I can make it through the entire game. So I will be right back. Well, I've been talking with my mask on too. Right. And you have a camera your way too? Living in the future. Are you live right now? You're on right now. Here, I can. Why don't you say hello to your peeps? Yeah, exactly. Well, why don't I get set up? I've got my Championship Sunday plaid on, so I'm ready to go.
You're good to
This
go?
is fun.
Yeah, just come on by when.
Yeah, I'll get set up over here and then away we go.
Perfect. All right. Special guest star / actual star of the show, Devin Heroux, is going to be joining us, so that's a beautiful thing. Switch over again to my slightly improved microphone here. That is not Curling Club Poutine. That's from Proof, local restaurant here in KW. I don't know what's inside the box. Maybe we'll see if he'll reveal that to us later. So one of the things with, and I am a big fan of curling with masks on, drinking water with a mask on, obviously there's no super elegant solution to that. Probably a straw of some kind is the right way to go, but we will find a way. We will endure. All right, let me see. Aha! Oh, look at this. People checking it out. I love it. There you go. Jennifer Jones came by, and her mom is apparently quite eager to watch her curl because she hasn't had the chance to do that for 6 to 7 months. So hopefully she's able to join us and check out the stream here. Twitch should work well for everybody. It's a fairly stable platform. I have used it before, some other stuff, so it should be good. About 3 minutes away from the start of the game, although it looks like we're going to be a little bit late getting going here, just as I sort of glance around and see the team setting up. Certainly most people expected to see Weigel and Epping in the final here against Jones Laing, but hey, mixed doubles is a beautiful thing. Anybody can win. Maddie Warriner and Charlie Richard played well this morning and won their game, so good on them. Glad to see them here. Honestly, I don't know much about those two curlers. Curling Zone tells me they're from Woodstock, Ontario, so somewhat local to the Kitchener area here, Southern Ontario at least. Not a crazy drive away. There you go. Oh, I love it. The bio for these two curlers says that they finished 3-0 in the Cameron's Brewing mixed doubles cash spiel yesterday. So that's their thing. But it's a beautiful thing. All right, let me see if I can pull up our scoreboard here, make sure that I'm set for all of that. I'm not 100% sure if the colors are pre-assigned or not. I wish I was more educated for you guys on this thing here. Looks like they're not. So, yeah, again, we'll have a few more minutes here. Devin is finishing up his food. He'll probably stop in and out. He's got some responsibilities for his paying work at CBC, but very happy that he came down here this weekend, supported the event. Certainly adds a lot more buzz and interest to this thing than might otherwise happen for a mixed doubles event to start the year in September. So happy to see him here. Happy to see all the curlers who showed up here. The KW Granite Club has done a great job getting everything up and ready and running and getting the ice in place. We did have some condensation issues with the morning draw. So yesterday we had frost. They made some adjustments to the humidification system, trying to fix the frost. And as is all the way with these things, when you tune it one direction, you sometimes go too far the other direction. And we ended up with some condensation and some drips and drops coming down onto the ice. So the ice crew has been burning away, trying to fix that up. They tried to make some changes, so we'll see how it goes in the final here. But something to be aware of. The early season curling inside a curling club, you're going to get these things. It's part of the sport. Personally, I enjoy seeing all sorts of different aspects to the ice conditions and not always having ultra perfect ice all the time. The ultra perfect ice is a lot of fun when you get it, but it's good to have the other side here too. So honestly, most of us are just happy to have curling going on at all. So any kind of activity that can happen, we're going to take it here. All right, I'm just going to send out a couple quick emails here. I'm going to get my mom to join the stream because, hey, I'm special too, right? And it's my stream, so I'm allowed to invite her.
There we go. All right. So I'm just going to checking on all my various chat platforms here. Curlers are heading out onto the ice right now to do their warm-ups, do their stretching. We are going to be starting a few minutes late here. Now I'm noticing the clock on the far wall of the club here says 1 o'clock exactly. Well, you guys can't quite see it. Maybe I'll give you a little view of that for the moment. But the official time on my cell phone says that we're about 4 minutes away. So you probably can't quite make out that clock at the far end there. But I think the official clock is running about 4 minutes faster than everybody's cell phone time, and most people are going to use their cell phone to decide this. So, but you can see our curlers are out there right now. They're going to be doing some practicing. See, Jennifer Jones just passed over my shoulder here from camera 1 heading to camera 2. So I'll try and adjust this to better show off exactly what's going on in the sheet. All right, maybe just a little bit lower. Give you guys a little bit better chance to see how the slides are going. Now, I'm not going to have a camera at the far end. I wish I'd had time to set that up and do some crazy technology. I don't have that. So you'll see the rocks going down there. I've got some overhead displays here, courtesy of the KW Granite Club, so I can give you a pretty good description of where the rocks in play are. It would be quite natural for me to set up a Curling Geek rock display thing here. But I don't want to try and be overly ambitious here and do 17 things at once at the risk of getting nothing at all. So we're going to keep it moderately simple for now. You guys can just watch it go by. And you can see Brent Laing there is starting the process of moving some rocks down there, doing some slides, everything else. I'm joined here to my side by Matt Wilkinson. He's taken over running the event as our chair had to go back home. He's also the club president, so any questions with regards to the event itself, I'm going to be leaning on his expertise. All right, very good. There we go. So yeah, everybody just doing some practice slides here. Get all stretched out, warmed up, and we'll get started not too long from now. Once again, no graceful way to drink water in a mask. All the players are wearing masks during the game. They're allowed to take them off when they're throwing or sweeping. As you can imagine, in mixed doubles, you're basically always either throwing or sweeping. I mean, all of the players, I've been very impressed. They've all been doing their best to try and keep it on as much as possible, taking it down when they need to. It's fairly tricky to be managing it on again, off again, especially in such a fast-paced format. So, yeah, you're going to see a few times where people don't have a mask on or they've got it out of the way. I'm not mask shaming anybody here because they are all trying to do their best under the circumstances. So, all right, let us flip over to the other microphone here because I've been joined by the guy you actually want to see.
Stop. Well, I mean, hello to the curling fans, and Doug, hello to you. Extraordinary measures I know you took to be able to do this. This is quite the rig you have here to bring this championship game. Here we are in our masks, curling in a pandemic. None of this is normal for any of us, but we're here, and this is going to be great.
Perfect. Love it. Let me know in the chat there if the volume is okay. This is a one-off special setup, but we'll do our very best here. Devin and I are going to try and stay masked up here for good COVID-y reasons. But at the same time, we'll chat with each other and try and keep you guys interested. So you can see Jennifer Jones is about to throw a rock here, and it's awesome. Oh, your dulcet tones are perfect, according to our audience.
Outstanding. Curling fans are always so kind.
They are very kind.
Unless Canada isn't winning. That's a story for another day.
Well, that's true, but I think Canada is pretty much guaranteed to win here today, so we're in good shape.
A Canadian team will win.
A Canadian team is
my prediction, Doug.
Oh, you're going way out on a limb there.
So listen, let's get into it. I mean, a bit of an upset this morning with this young team here.
Certainly.
Maddie and Charlie, I watched that game with a lot of interest. I've been working out of the boardroom on the other side. Thank you to Matt Wilkinson, the president of the KW, who's right beside us here. They gave me the entire boardroom.
Try and talk directly here.
Okay, I'm talking right here. And they gave me the boardroom. I was right beside sheet 6, so I got a good view of that game. I'm telling you, Maddie made a shot against 4. It must have been odd end, maybe the fifth end.
I think it was the fifth end, and yeah, they were lying a bunch. It looked like a big steal, almost guaranteed. And Maddie just made a beautiful pressure shot.
Put it on the lid.
Yeah,
Or it's game over.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, nerves of steel in that situation. And then, I mean, Jennifer Jones was looking like the Jennifer Jones we know this morning. She made a pistol, I believe it was in 5 as well, going that way, a run back triple. I asked her about it before this game, and she said, well, Brent said, just throw it. I think you can make the double. And she said, no, the triple's there all day. And Brent kind of looked over, and Jen said, yeah, I saw the shot, of course. So don't mess with Jennifer Jones because she's in a zone here in the first event of the season. She hasn't been on the ice for 6 months. Nobody really has, but she looks in fine form for this championship game.
So you did talk to the players. So Friday, I know a few of them were able to come to town and throw some rocks. Was that was their first time throwing a rock since the Scotties? Yes.
Jennifer Jones, after the last time Jennifer Jones threw a rock was in that semifinal loss to Holman at the Scotties. She had literally not been on the ice. She told me it was the longest stretch she's never been on the ice in her entire career. And between us and the viewers listening in, I could hear in her voice that there was a bit of trepidation. Yeah, I mean, and which is wild, yeah. Doug, because, I mean, for us, we get out there, we might fall on the first slides. Who knows what's going to happen? But for these pros that have done it for so long, and for her to be so candid about some of the nerves of wondering what the heck is going to happen when you step back out on the ice, I found that fascinating. Then to get out here, it's like riding a bike or throwing a rock.
I suppose, yeah, 36 hours later, and she's throwing run-back triples. So.
Yeah, exactly. And so everybody's sort of figuring it out. I've been paying attention to the mask situations. I know Langer is removing his mask often to throw and to sweep. That's an option they have here. Some teams are putting it down. I talked to Jen as well. You see her right now. I believe she has pulled the mask down or isn't even wearing it for these draws. But she said she purposely got a mask that came lower on her face because if she could see it in her eyesight, that was going to affect her delivery. So it's good. I mean, nobody knows.
We're all learning as it goes, yeah? Yeah, I noticed Jen, she seems to be keeping her mask in her pocket, whereas Brent seems to be more pulling it down to the chin when he has to go back and forth.
Right.
It is interesting because it's mixed doubles and you're allowed to take, at this club, your mask off when you're throwing and sweeping. Yeah, so you can see Jen right now. She's pulling her mask out of her pocket, putting it on. She's been quite disciplined. I think it's a habit that a lot of the players are going to have to form.
It is. And Lisa Weigel told me, here I am packing for a curling trip, which I've done for how many years, and now I'm putting Lysol wipes, an air purifier, a whole bunch of masks. A lot of the curlers telling me they like the nursing masks. What do we call them?
The medical grade
the
mask.
Medical grade mask, because you're out there, you're breathing, there's condensation, so they're flipping 2 or 3 out during the game, and it's a little more breathable because it just gets so moist in there when you're sweeping and delivering the stones. So the new territory, and it's certainly gonna weigh in. I think communication as well. A good point Colleen Jones made to me is, in pivotal moments during the Scotties and the Brier, we're so used to the teams having the whispers and they mic them up and they'll turn the volume up. But now you have masks on, and the other team is probably going to hear what you're strategizing. So that's a whole other thing, right?
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, because you will see sometimes, the players getting it tight around the button towards the end, trying to discuss if there's a certain line that's sticky and trying to share that information, and that's going to be a lot more difficult now.
Absolutely. Kudos once again. I know I will say it often and I've tweeted it often, but the entire staff here just, working tirelessly to be able to get the ice ready, about a 10-day sprint Friday, 4 p.m., just hours before the players hit the ice. And I was able to spend some time with Jen and Brent last night, and, they played on every ice surface in the world, and they said this is as good as it gets.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So I know Rob is a head ice tech here, and his entire team, they've done such a great job. A little bit of issues today. It's hot outside, to be expected, but really just a first-class job, and it just goes to show really how lucky Canadian curlers are to have the quality of ice they do.
Absolutely. So we've been in this building here for about 15 years. I'm a member of the Granite Club.
Of course,
here.
Doug. Yes.
And yeah, we're quite lucky. This is a city-owned building. They've been very good to us. They've helped us put in top-notch equipment, which helps make really good ice. And then Rob's our head ice maker. It's his first year here, so he's still learning the building. But he is being helped by, we've got a set of volunteers that have been, just putting in hundreds of hours helping out with the ice for, the 10, 15 years that we've been here, and that certainly helps.
Right. And obviously, I wrote about this on a piece. I'm going to give myself a little plug.
Please
Sorry,
do.
Doug. CBCsports.ca. Just about getting back to the roots and remembering how valuable the clubs are and how much of a heartbeat they are for communities. And I think we're seeing it here this weekend. And of course, this site is becoming somewhat of a curling bubble. It's, the next 4 or 5 weeks, we're going to have some big bonspiels here.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've
So-
got the mixed doubles now. We got a big junior event coming up, and then two of the Stu Cells coming up. So I know we're yesterday. John Epping was walking around the building trying to find his way. We've reorganized where the lounges are and where the players can meet after the game. He was trying to find his way around, and it's good because he was joking he's going to be here for 3 of the next few weeks.
Right.
So
Yeah. And isn't that something? I mean, curling is so much about sort of you've been on the ice, you know where to stand. You've been in these clubs before. It's sort of second nature, and then nothing is second nature anymore. And that comfort level, I think, is going to be somewhat of a key to success for teams this year.
Yeah. I agree.
I think we're ready.
I think we're ready. Look, Jones and Laing have got the hammer, throwing at the Red Rocks. Great little note here in the chat that both Warriner and Richard are both Ontario champions, winning with Fanshawe College and McMaster University, respectively. So, top talented juniors. I mean, certainly, you knew coming into the weekend that players like that, they're going to be solid. They're not going to be making a lot of mistakes. But coming into a final where you're semifinal, you're playing a Brier participant, an Olympian, and then coming in here now and playing, a couple of Olympic players as well, and multiple national champions. It'll be interesting to see if we can spot any nerves at all. But the opening shot right away looks awfully clean. They've clearly figured out the ice. Her line was absolutely perfect there. We'll see how it goes.
And isn't that the beauty of Canadian curling? Is on a Sunday in September in a pandemic, you have these young juniors coming up, getting to play Olympians.
Absolutely.
And this is why we continue to produce top curlers.
Absolutely. Yeah, win or lose, this is going to be a great experience for them and build confidence just being here. Huge confidence from their morning win. So you can see there a little bit of Brent's mask strategy. He had the mask on while he was calling and being at the far end for the opening shot, and then taking it off as he tries to do his sweep here and see if Jennifer can make her freeze.
They did paper the rocks, I believe, Thursday evening. A lot of swing, about 4.5 feet of curl, and Jenny Jones said, I love it, because we know how aggressive she can be, and she loves that big swing. So
yeah, it looks like we're getting 4.5 feet of curl here. And then I timed a rock yesterday. It was about 14.5 seconds for a backline draw. So good quick ice, not blazing fast, but certainly very quick by club standards. Seems to be consistent curl both directions. And yeah, it should make for a good game.
how are we feeling about mixed doubles, Doug? It's been a couple of years now since it really was thrusted into the curling spotlight. And of course, Caitlin and John took it to a different level. But where do you think people are at in terms of how they're imagining this game and the growth of it?
Yeah, I'm not sure that the Canadian club curler has truly embraced it yet. I was actually a skeptic. I thought it was a little bit kind of goofy, made for TV.
Maybe gimmicky. Yeah.
Maybe a little gimmicky. And then I believed that right up until I actually played a game. So we ran a quick, small little one-day bonspiel. I think there were 6 end games. Played the game and really, really enjoyed playing it. It's not a substitute for the 4-person game. I think it complements it.
That's a big distinction.
Yeah.
Traditionalists, got their backs up, and I was in the throes of a lot of those conversations. But it's a completely different beast. And when you cover a mixed doubles bonspiel and then you go back to the traditional game, you kind of go, whoa, you blink and you miss it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so there's a little bit of room. All those rocks that you can see at the far side, probably not super well, but they are all behind the tee line.
How about that?
And just an absolutely perfect freeze to the pin by Brent Laing. And there's our young squad here is going to have to move some granite, I think, too. There's no room on the pins. They're going to have to play some kind of probably 2 hits before they can clear up any room on that pin.
So this is a moment where you're going to have to learn patience in the mixed doubles game, because the thing of it is if you were to glue one right on top of that, you're locking down that scoring area. But sometimes you get so carried away about wanting to clean it up, or you're in a different mindset completely, and you get those angles wrong, and all of a sudden that opposition can have a hit for 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to be paying a lot of attention to this young team and just seeing if they can sort of, like you said, control those nerves and emotions and the adrenaline, play with controlled adrenaline early, and just draw. You don't have to blast things out of there all the time, or you might be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, and certainly they know that both of their opponents here are capable of making the big shot, so try and not leave that miracle shot. But at the same time, I don't think they can't play scared, right?
That's it, for sure. And they certainly didn't look scared at all. They were ready for every moment this morning.
Yeah, so you can see this rock here really sweeping in left to right. Good to see. It's going to hang just a little bit wide, but not bad at all. So right now, it looks to me like red is actually lying 2. That red rock covering the pin certainly shot, and then off to the right, Jennifer Jones, who's much closer to the scenario than I am, is also questioning a bit, but she seems to think that red's lying 2 right now.
And I think you just follow the same path down if you're Brent Laing and put another one right on top.
I think so. I think if he can throw the exact same shot he just did, they'll have 2 welded on the pin there.
And we should let viewers know who are tuning in why we keep looking up this way. We have the luxury of an overhead cam here in the club, so we're able to see the rings. But we should make that clear, as if we're not staring into space, conjuring some curling.
That's a good point here. Yeah, so this is
curling terminology.
I mean, very, very traditional curling club setup here, where we've got 2 cameras, one for each end, up above the glass. We're sitting in what normally is the members' viewing lounge after a game here. So normally there'd be a bunch of round tables here behind each sheet, sitting 8 people in the traditional post-game broom stacking. All those tables have been removed here. So it's very empty. There's maybe 8 or so people in the entire lounge right now. All organizers, coaches, and media personnel, I guess.
No murmurs, no energy when you walk in the doors. And I know you tweeted about that yesterday and said it's pretty eerie in here.
It is kind of eerie. So a bit of a mistake by Laing there. He let that one a little bit wide, maybe just a bit heavy, and it didn't seem to curl at the end. So a chance now for the Warriner team here to maybe play a bit of an in-off, knock that red one out, and really tighten up that scoring area, possibly create the force here. They're looking at it now. It would have to be,
I think you just follow it down, right?
I think you just follow it down, and you don't need. I mean, if you just freeze the top, you don't necessarily need to move that red. I am very tempted to move my camera here and point you guys at the overhead cam, but I think that might be beyond our capabilities. Well,
Who knows?
We may try it in a future end. We'll get out of the first end here and see how things go. Just let us know in the chat there if you have any questions for Devin or I. Also, let us know if the audio is going here. It's a bit of a jury-rigged setup here, but hopefully you guys are enjoying the show so far.
I just think it's fascinating what you've done here and what, of course, John Epping did throughout the weekend. I tweeted about that and said, it's always amazing to me the lengths in which curlers and fans and volunteers are willing to go to bring the game to Canadians, and here we are doing our best.
I loved seeing John this weekend. He had his phone set up on a little tripod and scooting it back and forth each time. And I was watching this morning, and he was chatting away with the fans in between each end and giving his little summary of it. Oh, great shot there. Might have overrolled just a hair, but it's in really good position.
I don't know if there's much space for Jones and Laing to do much here. Richard just getting the inside roll, and so that yellow is going nowhere. Top button.
Yeah, and in fact, I think Jones is scared of it. They're going to try and guard that side, because if Warriner ever got a chance to punch that top yellow, they could fling that red out of there and lie 2, maybe 3. So I think what you're seeing here is a guard to take away that scary shot. Jones effectively conceding the force here unless something magical happens.
And Doug, dare I say it, a messy house alert.
Well, one of the beauties of mixed doubles is that you get a whole lot of those messy house alerts. So Laing throwing this way out at the edge of the 12-foot. We'll see.
Yeah, it's trying to work its way back, but it's got a long way to go, and he hogged it.
Yeah, he hogged it. I think he got caught out in the frost. So part of our COVID strategy out here at the club is to space out the sheets as much as possible. We're on sheet 3, nobody playing on sheet 2. And I suspect he got just a little bit outside of the nipper line there and got caught on some slow ice.
Didn't have a chance, really.
No, it was not even close, and he never even really put a broom down on it.
So here's the shot you were talking about, and it looks as though this duo is eyeing up, maybe blasting something out of there.
I
or
think
just maybe even a tap.
I think it's there. I think even a board weight tap on that top yellow. You're going to see that red fly out to the side, and yellow could be sitting, as much as, if you did it really nice, you could be sitting 4 rocks touching the 4-foot here, and then forcing Jennifer into a really tough draw. So if this is made, a lot of pressure being put on by Warriner and Richard here.
Like I said, Maddie was equal to every task this morning. She really came up big in these pressure moments, and here's a chance to ratchet it up to a different level in the first stand. We talked about nerves, and we'll learn a lot about it right here.
Absolutely. And how do you like it here in mixed doubles? You're taking aim. I think she's aiming at Lang's left foot. Yeah, so this looks like maybe more like a hack waiter. Seems a little wide. It's going to have to curl a bit, but. Oh, here it comes. This is a beautiful shot.
It's close. Squeezes it out.
Squeezes it out. Yellow, I think, lies 3 maybe? 2 for sure. Two for sure.
Well,
probably just 2. Now, is there any way for Jones to do something other than a draw? I think Jones is just going to draw. She can probably use her visible red there on the right-hand side as a little bit of a backing flop off of that.
but what a turn, right?
What a fantastic shot. So yeah, this looked like Jones was getting 1 the whole way this end. And suddenly she's drawing against probably 2. Great shot. Absolutely. Like you say, Maddie stepping up, no pressure.
Yeah,
no
it's just shot after shot. She's been ready for the moment today, and that's beautiful to see.
Yeah, and particularly impressive in mixed doubles. They did not do a practice session ahead of this game. She's only thrown, well, I guess they threw a couple of rocks just for their the draw to the button practice. But that's your second shot of the game. You've got an 8-minute delay between it because of the format. She throws the first and the fifth. And to come up with a shot like that is fantastic.
Didn't flinch, and now Jennifer Jones has got to have a pretty good shot here, and this rock has to move a ton.
We got Jennifer Jones's brother-in-law watching Jennifer's shot. Langer seems to like it. It's coming in nicely. Oh, it might have actually over-curled a hair.
She got it. She got the roll.
Yeah, they're looking closely, but she got the roll, and 1 point there for what a great shot by Jennifer Jones.
What a start.
Oh. All right, I've got my very sketchy scoring system here, so I'm going to try and up that.
I mean, listen, we're bringing curling in a pandemic on the first weekend of the season to Canadians, right?
Yeah.
It's as good as it gets. Great first stand by this young team.
There we go. So a note from our coach here that I've been saying the name wrong. It's Richard, not Richard.
Yes.
For Maurice there. Of course it is. Coach coming over from sheet number 1 to help me out here. So I'm new to the live broadcasting game here. I normally
You're
do
doing
my
a great
broadcasting
job.
typing. So
You're doing a great job. We're all doing our best, and it's great to be talking to curling fans out there. I understand Jennifer, her mom, Carol Jones, is tuning in. So hello to you, Carol.
Hello, Carol.
I know you wish you could be here, and we wish we could have you here, but we're sending our best to you and all the curling fans who are tuning in today.
Oh,
Oh, fantastic. And the whole family's trying to figure this out. If you guys do have questions, feel free to put them in the chat here or tweet away at Devin. He's obviously the Twitter master here. He's got his screen up, so he'll be able to engage with you that way as well. All right, even numbered ends for bringing you top quality coverage because my camera's actually at this end here. So you'll be able to see this come in here. Interesting that Jones is playing everything on the, you can see we've got that carpet runner between sheet 3 and 4. And maybe there's something to watch and see if she's happier playing on that side of the sheet. They were playing the out turns in the away end and playing the in turn here on this end here. So she's obviously got that line dialed in, knows the weight extremely well, and makes a nice little freeze.
I mean,
rock.
how good is that, Doug?
Oh, that's crazy with, one sweeper, fantastic shot, and it's just perfect.
And I can't stress enough, and I know people who have watched this game can't stress enough how crucial that first rock is.
Oh, it changes everything in the end.
Yeah.
Making that opening freeze to the back one there, absolutely critical. So pressure's on to see if she can follow it down here. The opening strategy for mixed doubles seems to have, ever since they moved that back rock a little bit behind the pin, the opening strategy seems pretty set in. Both teams are going to try effectively 2 consecutive freezes.
Exactly.
And then it's all about the angles.
Exactly. Yeah, and that was one of the things when we did the Olympic trials in Portage, when it was relatively new and people were sort of watching it for the first time and curlers were trying to figure it out. And Brad Guzhu told me that he did binge on YouTube with his daughter to figure out how to play the game. How the strategy was going to evolve, how they were going to utilize a power play. Was it going to be used as an offensive weapon, or was it going to be used defensively? And I know Johnny and Caitlin, towards the end of their run, they were using it almost as a defensive weapon to take away any potential of a steal. So it's ever evolving, but like you said, I think we're starting to see a little bit of a formulaic strategy like we've seen in the traditional game.
Yeah. We saw the Warriner rink put their shot through the back, a little bit heavy on this one, and Langer punishing them for it right away.
Yeah.
With another great freeze.
And that's just it, right? Like 1 or 2 misses to begin and end, and 2 makes by your opposition, and it can get pretty dicey in a hurry.
Yeah, absolutely. But there is room here. I would guess they're going to play maybe kind of a bumpy freeze type of thing. Freeze, you got to get to it.
That's the technical term, Doug. A bumpy freeze.
A bumpy freeze. Yeah, well, that was taught to me by one of my first skips. So, yeah, I play the club level game, so none of our freezes are freezes. There's all a little bit of wiggle required. A margin of error is a little bit larger in the club game.
Can be a lonely island out there with 2 of you if you start missing.
It certainly can. And I think it is a little bit disappointing. We don't get any volume through the glass here, so we can't hear the players talk. But the communication in the mixed doubles is, we're not actually seeing a lot of talk between the 2 of them here. And normally you see a lot of the better mixed doubles teams. They're just constantly sending information back to each other.
To me, it's what is the difference maker in the mixed doubles game. And there was a moment I heard through the glass over on sheet 6 this morning where John said to Lisa, talk to me. Where is it? Because that line, that weight, everything, and they got caught at one point of the game with one of Lisa's draws where they gave up a steal of 2, where it was an in-betweener, where they didn't know whether they should have been sweeping to keep it straight or back right off and let it come to a stop. And so you're absolutely right. The communication at the highest level, that's what's going to make the difference in this game, because it literally is a matter of millimeters now that's deciding the good teams from the great teams, and that could be a matter of sweeping a few licks or not.
Certainly, yeah. So very nice shot by Charlie there to punch the yellow off the back, create a little bit of room, and then leave his yellow rock frozen to the top.
Langer again is going to try and chase it down. Really makes a big difference here if he rolls off at all or can sit right on top or get to the inside.
I mean, these angles are extraordinary, and he's so dialed in right now. Angles. So you couldn't pick up the rock and place it any better.
Yeah, that is just a fantastic shot there. You can easily see any kind of contact on that front. The yellow's going to scoot out to the side. So now really tricky to decide. Do you try and throw that out-turn draw on some ice that hasn't been played on, rolling the second end and haven't been any rocks played on the left side of the sheet as you see it here. So you try and draw into that little pocket, or you try and hit that red and wiggle things up and get things behind the tee line. And that seems to be the discussion here. One advantage for these players, there are no time clocks here, so they got a little more time to think about it. Often in the mixed doubles, you'll see the timeline is so tight, they've got to make their decisions very, very quickly. Which to me is part of the fun of the event.
Yeah, if you're somebody like John Morris who likes to talk about everything and what he had for breakfast in the middle of a curling game, that time clock can tick away pretty quick, and they had to work that out at the Olympics. And it's really fascinating to me to watch team chemistry evolve. And listen, at the end of the day, there are vulnerable moments out on the ice in pressure moments, and you have to be able to understand the moment and be able to communicate clearly, because if there is a breakdown on the ice in the big moments, you're not going to win many games. And so it's a beautiful thing to watch the evolution of these teams. And of course, I don't have to tell you that Brent and Jen are a couple on the ice and in life, and they open up to me about what that's like and how they've sort of evolved in their conversation in the pressure moments.
Yeah, well, and again, when the mixed doubles first came out, a lot of conversations about whether that would be a plus or a minus playing with your partner. And we've seen it at the top level, so certainly these two have obviously figured out and how to play well together. But a few of the other top teams who are couples off the ice haven't found that chemistry on the ice.
Right.
It's a very different thing.
My favorite mixed doubles couple, Wayne and Kim Tuck. They are as entertaining as it gets on the ice. So hello to both of you if you're tuning in today.
Well, I'm a big fan. I'm a local team, effectively, and from my hometown of Brantford. The Tucks.
Yep.
Love watching them play. Love it. I mean, it's funny to see them argue. It's genuinely chemistry on the ice. It's a different kind of chemistry. But you know that they're talking to each other, they're being honest. It's extremely effective. I love seeing it. I think it's fantastic. So Charlie missed the run back there, got the guard out of the way, and I would expect Brent to be just placing some kind of a center guard up here. Could even maybe freeze one on right to the pile, but anything out front there to stop the big hit and the big blast to clear out the house is going to be a good shot.
I don't think he's going to hog this one.
No. They are, well, and I wonder if that's part of the reason they're shying away from the left side of the ice, is that they are worried about the frost out there.
And there's certainly humidity in the building. That's a given. You can see the frost building, and they'll navigate that. If you can't navigate that, then
oh, absolutely.
You haven't curled.
This is true, and certainly, as much as they play on the slam ice and the Nationals ice, Jones and Laing have played plenty of curling in all sorts of different facilities, all sorts of different situations. This won't be a surprise to them. Those of you who are just joining us now, we did have humidity problems this morning. There was some condensation and some drips onto the ice, causing some bumps and humps. Ice crew's been out there. They're doing their best. They're making some tweaks to the building. But with only, maybe hour and a half between the morning games and the final now, only so much you can do. But at the moment, everything seems to be holding up quite well.
Yeah, and I think some of the problems were on sheet 2 and sheet 6. So here we are on sheet 3, and everything looks good to go. So, those bumps and humps, I played in rinks, across Saskatchewan, and they're just an extra guard.
Absolutely. All right, so Charlie looking to try and freeze one into the pin here. This is, again, on the tricky side of the ice here, possibly the slower side, the side we haven't played quite as much. But it looks like a very good shot if it would just curl over that extra half rock. Oh, man, that was 3 inches away from being a perfect shot.
Yeah, it really was.
So Red's lying 1 right now, but what a great pocket for Jennifer to freeze into. And then there will not be a lot of options left.
This could be danger zone
It certainly could
for
be.
Maddie and Charlie if Jennifer can lock one in there.
Yeah, if Jennifer can lock one in there and even just move that yellow.
I keep looking up at our overhead cam, but we're here.
Well, no,
We've got it right in front of us.
Need a little bit of practice. But yeah, if that looks like those two reds at the back there are both shot rocks. So if this freeze comes in there, if it bumps that yellow on the left even an inch.
Yeah, she just has to be close.
Yeah.
She doesn't even have to be perfect with this.
No. Her rock would be above the tee line just a little bit, or straddling the tee line really, so not much room in there. And then it is a factor that that long guard is the wrong color to be run in to great effect. So.
She hit the broom. I was exactly where she was aiming, and I can tell you Jennifer Jones hit the broom.
Are we surprised? All right, so Brent Laing working really hard to stop the curl here. This rock's heavy, but he's got to keep it out there. He doesn't want it to rub off.
It's perfect.
And it's perfect. All right, so Jones and Laing lie 3. That rock just thrown by Jennifer is above the tee line. So if you nose this, you could probably double out the reds and only give up 1. That might be your best shot. I don't see a way to score here.
I don't think there is a way to score
No.
here. This is cutting your losses and moving on to the next end.
Yeah, I mean, if you can make this double, being down 2 points in mixed doubles is nothing.
Nothing.
You'd rather not be, of course, but yeah, cut your losses, make a shot, move on. And this all happened. That opening shot was missed.
That was it.
Yeah.
First 2 shots of the end set the tone for this, and then Maddie and Charlie were in chase
This
mode.
was all Brent Lang setting this up, I think.
Oh,
I think
look
Brent
at
Lang
this!
really, yeah. News from the expert.
I mean, listen.
Well, we can't disagree with that analysis,
we
right?
can't disagree. Literally, backseat commentary here.
Yeah, from the back seat. No doubt.
Exactly. But, a nice moment that typifies what we've been talking about is these curlers and their generosity in bringing the game to Canadians.
Well, and with John doing his streaming over the weekend, and then the 2 of us setting this up in a hurry, it was great to see how excited the curlers were. Who, they're obviously used to being on the giant arenas and full-fledged national coverage from the CBC, etc. Excited that this was being streamed and that the fans could hop on there and could be seen. They really are genuinely supportive. Ooh, this needs to stay out there.
Yeah, turned it in a little bit, but I think she might have adjusted it.
Yeah, might have given it that little pop.
Yeah, but got to keep it and make this double. Yikes.
Move some rocks, but that looks like it's going to be a steal of 2. Yeah. Not bad. Just needed to stay out there about 1 inch more. And that's the kind of shot that throw on the 4-person team, that extra sweeper on the inside, hammering it.
Certainly.
You make that shot.
Certainly would have been able to keep it there.
Yeah. But that's okay. Not bad. Limited the damage to 2. Again, you'd rather not be down 3. But they're still in this. They're playing well and just need to recover, and they need to make that opening shot now.
3-0. Jones and Laing headed to the third end. And I've just been so impressed with the way they've been curling. And Jennifer, before this game, telling me that she was just maybe not surprised, but thrilled at the way she was throwing the rock and just happy. Really, a joy, Doug, is what I sort of took away from it. A joy to be back out here. You won't meet a more fierce competitor than Jennifer Jones. And I tweeted about this morning in the semifinals, but that Jennifer Jones yell when a rock is close, I think we can all hear it, and you could hear that same pitch and that same tone. And so when you get on the ice, whether it's in the bright lights or whether it's here or wherever it is, she's going to bring it.
Yeah, and it's amazing. Yeah, it's a September event, the same intensity as if it was World Championships in April.
Exactly. She doesn't care what it is. There's a game to be won, and they're in the lead 3-0 as we get set for the third end here at the KW.
Yeah, once again, Jennifer Jones electing to play on what's now the right-hand side of the sheet, so staying towards that carpeted side here. And might be some fears about some frost if you get too far out on the left side, where, again, there's no game playing beside us, at least not on sheet 2. Check our handy overhead cam, and surprise, surprise, Jennifer Jones makes a great shot onto the pin, about a foot above that back yellow rock. So once again, our young team from Woodstock is being asked a question right away. Yeah, the chat asking if there was a triple on that last one. Maybe. If you had slashed that outside one with quite a bit of pepper and had them spin off, I don't think she was throwing the weight of rock to make that triple, and I'm not sure it was either.
Well, and what I would say to that, and I think it was there, but risk reward, right? You were maybe only scoring one as opposed to making what was a relatively easy double, and giving up one and being down 2-0 as opposed to, trying a wicked triple and maybe only getting one. And so I appreciate the question, but I think the shot was certainly the one she played. She just was a little tight with the line.
Yeah. But a great little rock here. A little bit of a tap, but gets it in front of that red. Sets up a nice little angle that if you'd ever get a chance to punch your yellow, that red's going to go out the side. So in good shape here.
Cooey, we're seeing the comments here. Cooey could have.
Cooey could have tried, and Cooey would have tried it. Absolutely no surprise.
Would have tried it. What was the shot he made at Men's Worlds? Didn't he get 5 going in?
I don't know. It's such a long list of.
Yeah, I think against Switzerland in the semifinal, he got 4 or 5 rocks going, and it was just jaw-dropping. One of the better shots I've ever seen.
One of his my favorite shots that he threw is there was a perfect freeze, one on top of each other, and he threw a bullet and actually chiseled the top one outside ways without moving the back one.
It's crazy.
I mean, caught the smallest piece you could imagine.
Yeah, it's curling wizardry, isn't it?
Very hard to defend against.
And I know they're going to be back on the ice in Alberta. I believe there's a Banff Classic in mid-October, so they're going to be back on the ice out in Alberta. I think it's a good point to talk about how all these provinces and the associations and the curlers are really stepping up and trying to get bonspiels in all of their provinces.
I know that Jerry Gertz of Curling Zone, he's been a big part of trying to make that happen and trying to. A lot of these teams, they're struggling. If you have to cross a provincial boundary, which a year ago these teams would do on a monthly or nearly weekly basis to get to various events, to get the high-level competition. That's so complicated right now with everybody changing their rules. All these teams are trying to find that competition within their own province and trying to put that together. A little bit of travel possible out west amongst those or out east, but it's all these players, for the most part, have got real lives and real jobs elsewhere. And you never want to get to the point where you travel out to a weekend bonspiel and that suddenly locks you into a 2-week quarantine.
A 2-week quarantine, and certainly in the Atlantic bubble, that's going to be something they're going to have to deal with. And I know they are dealing with it the best they can, but I don't have to tell you, and I don't have to tell curling fans how much uncertainty exists around, what the Scotties and the Brier and Worlds might look like. And let's not forget that once we hit late November, we're a year out from the Olympic trials in Saskatoon. Yeah. So there's certainly a level of anxiousness around how all of this is going to look. And some of the curlers here this weekend telling me, when we look at some of the international teams, they've been on the ice for weeks. Yeah. And they're able to be out there and practicing. And I know, talking to many high-performance athletes, when you see your competition training and you're not able to do it in that way, there's anxiety, certainly.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think for a lot of these players, they would normally be throwing rocks beginning of August.
Yes.
So
in Morris, Manitoba, they have that ice in July. They hold camps in July. So Jen was telling me they would normally be out on the ice as early as early August. So,
well, our club here, the Granite Club, normally we host the Trillium Camp.
That's right.
The Ontario High Performance Camp for juniors. But that means we have the ice in again, early August, second week of August. And typically daytime, the juniors are out here, and then the evening, we'll see a lot of the names from the Ontario curling scene making the drive out here just to throw a few rocks and get those reps in on themselves. So our club, we put the ice in, as you said, in a rush for Friday afternoon. We've got practice ice available next week for people to come in and rent the ice, and busy bookings. I was talking to our club manager, Lorna, and all sorts of teams just trying to get their slider foot underneath them.
It's going to be fun. It really is going to be fun, and I know the curlers are excited. So it's going to be a wicked few weeks here, and then we'll see where we're at, right, later in this year and going into January, and then sorting out how the national championships are going to look. I'm hearing from my sources that a hub scenario is seemingly more and more likely all the time.
Yeah. Well, you and I spoke yesterday, and the likelihood of a big arena, traditional Briar and Scotties seems basically zero at this point.
Yeah, I mean, to rent out a massive venue just to have it look fancy when you're having to pay those overhead costs without any fans in an arena certainly doesn't benefit anyone. And Jerry Peckham from Curling Canada told me, look, this was months ago. He told me we could probably run the Canada Cup without fans, but I don't think we could run many events after that without fans because it's just too much of a hit to the bottom line. So, maybe a hotel connected to a facility sort of scenario makes the most sense for me.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, and certainly the big four sports have been working well with their hub scenarios, but a true hub it's a very expensive and very complicated set of logistics. And curling does not have the budget of an NHL or an NBA.
Or the Toronto Blue Jays, who were in the hotel at the Rogers Centre and then could go to the field. But essentially, the Rogers Centre, the dome, acted as a big bubble. You went from the hotel room to the playing fields for 14 days.
Right. So always complicated in mixed doubles trying to figure out what's going on here. Right now, yellow, I believe, is line one.
Yeah, one.
Yeah, just on the right-hand side there, but Lang's got his own red that he can punch in there on the angle to get rid of it fairly easily. They're just checking out all the angles and trying to find which way they want to do it exactly. Looks like they're going to be patient and just sort of keep junking up the top a little bit. No real danger here of a big score from yellow. Nothing, no hero shots I can see to do anything. So Jones and Laing in good shape here.
Angles.
Absolutely.
If anybody has any questions, feel free. Yeah, people commenting about the bubble scenario.
Yeah. So one thing I am noticing about the Jones and Laing rink is they appear to have dedicated mixed doubles jackets. A lot of the teams, especially when the mixed doubles first came out, they were just wearing their four-person jackets and having separate sponsors.
Got to get those sponsors out there, Doug.
Absolutely.
Got to keep the sponsors happy when there's no TV events going on.
Well, I have been very impressed by the number of sponsors that have maintained their sponsorship of curling through this. A lot of the teams tweeting out that their sponsors are sticking with them this year, knowing that the numbers are going to be down, knowing there won't be as many events, and yet all these great Canadian companies, for the most part, still supporting the sport, supporting the players.
Yeah, you and I and so many other people have had this conversation, but the professionalization of curling, name a sport where curling occupies as many hours on TV throughout fall, winter, and into the spring. In Canada, they're not paid like it, but of course the optics of it give the people the illusion that they're pros and they're living the life of riches. But a lot of these curlers have other jobs, and so for sponsors to step up in the midst of this, I think is exceptional.
Particularly once you get past the top 5 or so teams on either side. It's much more difficult. So Laing continuing to junk things up. I think our messy house alert continues here. Yellow.
My mother would not be pleased.
Would not be pleased with the messy house. Yellow line one here. Very dangerous though, because there's 2 different rocks. So on the right-hand side there, you can see the yellow rock and the red rock. Make contact with either of those and click, click, click. The yellow shot rock in the house is going to go away. And then that red on the left-hand side, just behind Warriner there, in front of Warriner, that can very easily be promoted to the pin. So Laing looking comfortable. He's probably going to come up here and tell us again how wonderful he's playing. But yeah, I don't see how a yellow rock gets in there quickly. You're going to have to play a shot now to set up a shot later. So they seem to be talking about if they can play a really quiet hit and roll to the inside off the red just behind Warner's foot there.
You just have to paper that top center line guard.
Yeah.
The weight has to be perfect. I think what we've seen here throughout this game, if you're up at all, that rock is just going to stay straight and hang on that line. So this is not an easy shot at all. Richard knows it. They know it. And they know this is a pivotal moment in the game. You're trailing by 3. You just gave up a steal of 2. And so you've really got to buckle down here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as much as we said before, that 1 or 2 points is not a big deal early on in the mixed doubles game. They've kind of used up that free space. They've already given that up, and now they really need to make sure they can score this end. Oh, you're very welcome. We're happy to be here streaming it. We looked at a whole bunch of different options to try and get this game to you. Devin tried to pull some strings, and I'm happy we were able to make this happen.
We're pulling together.
We are. Now this Devin, I think you predicted the future.
Yeah.
You get a little up weight.
Well, we've seen this line, haven't we? And
We have.
if you throw it up at all here and the adrenaline's pumping at all, it'll just hang right on that line, and that's exactly what it did.
Yeah, just a little bit heavy. Promoted the red up, and now, it might be red line 1.
It is indeed. Maybe. Indeed, maybe.
Yeah, and DAC MW2, if only there was someone who had the technology to show a magnet board of what's going on.
That's where my expertise stops.
Yeah, that's sadly where my expertise actually starts.
Oh.
But I was not able to get that going quickly enough for
That's
this
right.
game.
That's right. You usually have the board and the
I
whole
do.
bit. Yeah.
But we'll, as Devin's said a couple of times now, we are running a number of big events here at the club over the next few weeks, and we're going to improve the technology. So, yeah, great setup here for Jones now. Honestly, if Jennifer Jones did absolutely nothing, they might steal one.
Says Kevin Martin.
Yes.
And people who know what I'm talking about.
Yes, absolutely.
There might be a run double there off the yellow rock he just threw. Might be worrisome.
Yellow onto red and split it through there.
Split them through there. That's true. That's true. All right, fans, we're gonna try a little trick here. I'm gonna see if I can show you the overhead view.
Yeah. Yeah, this is going to work. Do you want? I can probably.
Yeah,
how
maybe you
far
can.
does it go?
Let's see. Oh, here we go. All right, there we go.
How good is that?
You can see Devin Heroux, not just a reporter, also a cameraman. Many
Tell
different
my
skills.
bosses.
Yeah, there you go. So as you can see, a heck of a setup here for yellow. Is there a chance, if you want to be a hero, catch about half of that left-hand yellow, double the reds out of the 4-foot, and score whatever's left?
The reason I'm able to do this is because I used to hold a somewhat of an antenna like this at our cabin in Saskatchewan to get CBC on the weekend.
Ah, there you go.
Full circle.
Yeah. So I think Jennifer Jones, she's going to guard this hero shot because there's not much else left.
All right.
Oh, he's just coming down to sweep.
Anytime now, Jan.
This is actually Devin's workout for the weekend.
It
You guys
is.
saw his lunch earlier, and now he's got to work it off. So,
Exactly.
but the crowd wanted to know earlier. We're having poutine. Was that the?
No, that's my box lunch from the hotel. This is also the new reality, is that there's no breakfast, so they box a lunch for you.
Ah. So Jennifer just throwing a guard up on this far side here, trying to stop the, looks like just stop that angle, tap on the yellow. Oh, if she can punch this in and change the angles. Oh, what a great shot. That takes away the hero shot. That takes away any tap. Once again, I don't know how you, well, you might be able to score if you could fire that left-hand yellow in. But what a risk.
Yellow onto red, and spill it through there?
Yeah, and somehow stick it, and maybe, well, you score 2 if you do it perfect, but you could give up a lot.
The capacity crowd gathered around the overhead.
Indeed. You can see our socially distanced crowd here checking it out. Everybody looking at the overhead camera here that Devin really working on those shoulder muscles there to keep it up.
I'm doing my best right now. It's getting a little dicey, but I've got to hold on for the last shot.
There you go. The sacrifice that Devin goes through for his fan.
And you know what this means. Every time we're going that way, this is the new normal.
This is the new normal. We've achieved the new thing. Yeah. All right. Well, next week when we're broadcasting part of the junior match here, we'll have to come up with a better setup. Really checking out the angles here. They're actually looking on the right-hand side and see if there's anything they can slash in.
It's okay.
Oh, look at this. The fantastic volunteers at the Granite Club coming out with a ladder to try and make this easier.
Well, I'll climb the ladder.
Yeah. Now, my cabling system might not be long enough, but that's our ice crew actually helping out here. So I don't know what they're even trying to do here. Laing making sure there's absolutely no debris to make that yellow rock spill out and increase their points a little bit, paying attention to every little detail. You can definitely tell the lifetime front ender who's always looking for itty-bitty pieces of debris on the ice and keeping things clean.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm not even sure what we're trying here. Right now, it's a steal of 1. And anything you do looks real risky that you're going to punch that yellow at the side of the button and make a mistake. And she's actually throwing a fair bit of speed. This is a board weight hit. Yeah, this hanging out there. This could be angling the top red in. I think it's just going to chip it across the top here. Ooh, steal of 1 for sure, maybe 2. Yeah, at least 1 red, and then we might we might be getting our COVID measuring process going on.
I'm not ready for a measurement.
No, all right. Well, you can bring it down here. I don't think we need.
Whew.
All right. Wow. Kudos to Devin for taking care of that. Let's see if we can fix up our cabling here a little bit.
I'm exhausted.
Hopefully, I'm not going to give you guys any motion sickness. It's wiggling and it's wobbling. Awesome. There you go. All right.
Yes, somebody says, "Give me a coffee." I'll take a cereal bowl of coffee any day.
A cereal bowl of coffee. What we do? Coffee here. Oh, there you go.
No.
Manager. Set it up anyway. We'll see what happens. The manager hosting property at the Granite Club continuing to step up to make this a great event and providing us with the ladder.
Oh, are we having fun yet?
So those of you who've read the Curling Canada official guidelines,
right.
One of the things is if you're going to do a measure, it's put your gloves on, sanitize your hands, grab the stick, do the measure, sanitize again, then take your gloves off, and probably sanitize again. It's for right here, right now at a big cash spiel, absolutely go through the process. One of my friends on Twitter said that, well, in case of a measure at a regular club game, before doing all that craziness, that the team that's down wins the measure.
Yes.
Which I think is completely fair for casual setup. I didn't catch who won the measure there, but
No, and I was hoping that Brent would have made it a little more clear to us by moving it into the middle, but he didn't.
no. Again, front ender versus a vice, right?
Exactly. This is all new territory for him. Great responsibility.
That's true.
Okay, so it looks like it's just 1 red, and so that'll make it 4-0 headed to the 4th. And so now this is a part of the game where those first 2 or 3 rocks of this 4th end are going to be pivotal because, like we've said since the get-go, Richard and Warriner have been chasing all day, and they just have to do a better job of getting those angles and getting those first rocks in a better spot.
Yeah. Do you think you start considering the power play at this point, or is it still too early?
I think it's still too early. I like keeping that for the last half of the game. You saw it executed perfectly by Weagle and Epping in the 7th. They scored 3, almost had a chance at 4. So I like keeping that. It's almost like in the pro sports where you keep that challenge for later in the game. So keep it, just focus on those first few rocks. They've been a couple of inches deep, and we talked about adrenaline, and I just wonder, you got to throw it to the sweepers. Trust that instead of trying to get it there, and I think they just got to settle down now.
Very good point. All right, so Jennifer has been absolutely perfect on this shot all game, making it touching some part of the white button every single time she's thrown it. So I would expect the same to be happening here. And Brent just cleaning it in there.
She's done it again.
She has done it again this way. If you wanted to be really critical, you'd say it's over curled a hair, but wow, you're getting picky to say that much.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, this is just really clinical stuff today from Jennifer Jones. She's been so dialed in, and I know she's loving being back on the ice, and it's just showing in everything she does. I think one of the things I've come to learn covering Jones over these last number of years is her body language tells us a lot about how she's playing on the ice, and she's just looked so poised and so confident all weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Fully agree. All right, chance here for Maddie, who again has been, you hate to be critical. Maddie's actually been playing extremely well all weekend and just been a little bit off on these games, but when you're playing a set of pros like Laing and Jones, there's just no room for those small misses. And again, right there, just a little bit tight, crashes on the guard, and now it's going to be a bit of a struggle coming back for the rest of this end. Yeah.
Thanks for that, Glenn.
There we go. One of the coaches here in the lounge has just tweeted out to Devin's account to show our very sophisticated camera setup that brought you that last end. So if you head on over to Devin's Twitter account, you'll be able to see the great lengths that we're going to bring you this coverage here. All right, so Brent trying to lock another one in here on the button. Yeah, he's throwing it again. We've seen this a few times this game. This left-hand side, as you're looking at it now, just a little bit stickier than the other ones, but Brent able to navigate that just perfectly and lays it in on the button there.
Now what?
Now what? Well, so you've got that run for that, sort of corner guard you've put up there. So at least that's a usable rock for you. It was the right side to miss. I think you got to put some yellow rocks in the 4-foot and hope for an angle later. At this point, you have to score this end. You really probably need to score a couple.
Yeah.
So at this point, just try and follow red down. Try and sit one in there, top of the pocket. Maybe give it a little bit of a wiggle. Try and create a little bit of room there to get those reds out later. This looks good, although I want it to curl just a hair more.
I think it will. It's going sideways now.
Yeah. Oh, great shot.
Yep,
Very
pretty
nice.
good. Pretty good.
Yeah, these rocks are behaving very nicely, and I love it when a rock curls hard at the end, but if you're up weight, it floats straight.
That's what we've seen.
Yeah, and that's it just increases the demands on the players, the level of precision that's required, and it's fantastic to see. So you can see with Jennifer here, the broom in the middle of the 12-foot, looking for 4.5 feet of curl. Fairly standard for what we've seen here, and a really good start for club ice, and it bodes well for the members this season and for the ice we're going to be able to enjoy starting in 2 weeks' time. You can also see, if you compare this to these players when they're playing on the slam ice, a little bit of a softer handle, a little bit less rotation, a little bit less release.
That's such a good point, Doug. I've been watching them change their rotation on this ice, and those are the little things, the nuance, right? That sets teams apart. And that was one of the things I was paying attention to with John and Lisa. Just you know, the communication, how each other's rocks curl, knowing the line, knowing the communication. So they were tweaking with it throughout this morning.
That just shows the experience of the players and their ability to do that. And a lot of club players like myself just struggle to be consistent. So be able to be consistent. In
We're
many
just hoping
different
not to
patterns.
fall out of the hack.
Well, that's true. Keep it somewhere on the sheet, and they can respond to different conditions, adjust to it, play with it, and make beautiful shots like Brent Laing just did there. Again, as we've talked about before, you're sort of seeing different strategies with the masks and stuff. Charlie there just kind of pulling it down from his chin when he's going to throw. All of the players working hard to keep the masks on as much as they possibly can, and then just taking it off when they're doing something particularly athletic. Obviously a good approach, certainly. Looks like we're going to see some heat here. Maddie's coming down to catch rocks. Might be time to run in that corner.
So this is certainly a different approach, right? The last number of ends, we've seen them try and play shot for shot, but this time deciding to open it up and see if they can get a different result. Because like you said, Doug, I think they have to score here.
Yeah. Just didn't quite get the curl he wanted on that run back, so opens up the front, but he was really hoping to jiggle some of the rocks in that 4-foot area.
And it looks like they just want to play a guard, but Brent here sort of surveying. You get a good look coming this way, what they're looking at in the house and the angles, and it looks like Brent and Jen have decided on just putting a guard right back up there.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly have the choice. You could try and hit something, spray everything. You might be able to, with the right angle, get those yellows out of there, but there's no need. They're fully in control of this thing here. Junk it up. Right now, no really good ways for yellow to score. So just, throw another guard up there and leave the pressure on your opponents.
Yeah. Got to make this one, though, because this end could turn in a hurry if you don't make this guard.
Beautiful thing in mixed doubles. You're one shot away.
Yeah. And this rock has to move.
Yeah, it's coming over nicely, though. Should be able to steer it a little bit. Yeah, I think that's going to be just fine. So we saw Brent hog a guard early on in the game when he was still getting used to the ice, but
Hasn't missed since, has it?
that's long gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, all those problems have been solved.
He told us about it, too. So you took the one chance hoping they would miss replacing this guard.
Yeah.
You can't peel a game.
No, except the angles don't work. You've got that yellow guard that you can sit in there waiting to be run in, but Lang's corner freeze because he got it to the right-hand side of that yellow. You run that yellow guard in, you're just killing the other yellows. So they do seem to be, they're calling for peel again. They're going to try and fire something in here. They're committed to blasting at this point.
Straight back?
I guess. I'm not sure what this accomplishes. I guess if you can catch it on the outside, you might be able to open it up. But if you don't, you're going to lose your shooter if you're on the outside at all.
I think, ideal scenario is rearrange some of the house right now.
I think you're right. I think it's a little bit of desperation might be overkill, but a little tight, but set that back out.
Yep. This is close.
It's close. Yeah, good shot. Probably about the best you could hope for.
Yeah.
But You've got two off the center line guards. Red is lying 2, I believe, very close to 2 anyway. All behind the T line, though. So you've given yourself something. You've got 2 yellows, both of them can be run in.
Don't you just follow it right down and put one
I think you
sort
can.
of right there where Jen's pointing, top of the 4 foot?
A little tricky with the way it's curling to come through that port and keep it on the center line. If you're going to come all the way back to the pin. So.
Right.
But yeah, if you put it top 8 on the center line.
I mean, ideally, you'd like to bring it back far enough to cut down any one of those angle raises, right?
Correct. Yeah, right now, I don't think you're ever going to score that back yellow. It's welded in funny. But at least the right-hand guard could be fairly easy tapped up to the button.
Right.
So there's an easy out there.
Fairly easy, he
Fairly
says.
easy. Yeah. From where I'm sitting,
We
it's
haven't
simple.
missed a shot.
No, not at all. I've been perfect all season and all game.
Oh, boy.
But at least it's a makeable shot.
And listen, at least we're talking about curling again. That's the best part of it.
Yeah. Well, as you know, I've been tracking the reopening of curling fairly
Yes,
closely
I
across the
wanted to
country.
get into that. You've done a great job of tracking the
Oh,
clubs.
thank you. And different clubs under different circumstances are making different decisions, and which makes sense. So depending on their local COVID numbers, their club budget, the age of their membership, the style of their membership, the facilities they're in, who owns it. No simple decisions for the curling clubs right now about whether or not to open, how to open, what to charge, what your rules are going to be. So it's good in many ways that, some of the, and no surprise, another perfect shot by Jennifer.
Yeah, pretty good. Leave them a run back, sort of an angle raise here, and that's about all you got.
Yeah, I think you're just tapping that back for 1. If you threw it with the most perfect shot in the universe, you might be able to get 2 and chip those reds across the top, but
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to
you'd have to be
run it right back into that crotch area, right?
and sort of tick them both sideways.
Yeah.
But I think you'd have to throw that with enough weight that if you missed, you're giving up the steal.
Yep.
It's not the kind of shot where your plan A is the tap up
No.
and then A plus is the
You're-
wiggle.
No, you're blasting.
Yeah, you're picking one or the other. So I would expect this to be the sort of back 8 weight angle tap, back line maybe. Big, huge pocket to hit there. So this is really about the angle you hit that top guard on.
The nice thing is I think you have a little bit of a margin for error to at least score. I mean, ideally, you'd want to make that double.
Yeah, I don't see the double, but I think if you can make contact with, if Jennifer would just move a little bit to the right here, if you can make contact with either of the back reds, get it anywhere in the pocket, you're probably getting 1 for yellow. Big time pressure shot here for Maddie.
It's not a recording.
Working really hard for line here. It's all about the angle that you catch that top. You've got to catch the outside of this guard. Got to get the outside of the guard.
Just not enough weight.
Yeah, I think the line was there, but I think you're right. The weight was off. 1 for sure, and we might be measuring again, but I think it's red. I think red's going to get 2 here. We'll wait to, steal of 2 for red, and that unfortunately is going to hurt. All right, so a big 6-0 lead for Laing and Jones over Fischal and Warriner. Now, Devin, do we get to see our power play?
Well, yeah. That's my expert analysis.
Your expert analysis, because it's
Yes. Use a power play. Pull out all the stops.
yeah, you can see them talking about it right now.
Yeah.
You have to use the power play because honestly, you might not have another chance to use it if you don't bring it up now.
We could see. I don't want to say handshakes because we're not handshaking. You could see elbow bumps or whatever the case, head nods, because it has been slipping away these last number of ends.
So we have seen here a couple of different strategies for how to defend against the power play here.
Yeah.
Will they try the tick shot here? Are they even allowed to try the tick shot anymore, or is that?
No, I think you can. You certainly can, but I know that was a conversation we were having when I went to Stavanger, Norway for the World Mixed Doubles Championship with Peterman and Gallant, and we should say congratulations to the two of them.
Absolutely.
Jocelyn Peterman and Brett Gallant announcing that they will be getting married. So congratulations to you both.
Jennifer looking to play the freeze on that back yellow. This looks a little hot. This might be going by. Oh, just a little bit warm, and
so this is your opening.
Here's your opportunity. I mean,
there have not been many Jennifer Jones misses, but this is it, and now you have to capitalize. You're looking. My thought on this is you want to get 3 with the power play.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the default right now would be you could draw the open side, trade a bunch of hits, and get your 2. But you need more than that.
Yeah.
So come around that corner, try and freeze one to your own, and then it's game on.
Mm-hmm. Almost want to Christmas tree them.
There you go. You've been talking to Colleen Jones, haven't you?
Yes, I have been.
So this has got to curl quite a bit.
I think it's got to slow down too.
Yeah. Oh, we're getting questions for the ladder. We will give you an overhead view as the end goes on. We'll wait towards the end when it gets interesting. It's a little hard for us to prop it up there.
Oh boy, they almost should have been on that. Because I think they could have got it by.
They could have come on, been behind, right?
And so, Doug, that's one of the points I want to make is, you're down 6-0, but you just had a miss. You've got the power play. You're a little defeated out there, but you still have to communicate. And I think that was a situation where they got caught up in the moment and stopped communicating because you really wanted to bring that rock behind.
Yeah, make the decision early. Plan B, come around behind,
right.
Cover it up. Because now Laing's got a fairly easy chance to freeze into that pocket, really wiggle it in anywhere, and you'll have a tough time scoring either of those 2 stones.
Right. This is a beautiful spot on the ice. We have a great vantage point of how it just crawls across and works its way into that area, and this is a gem by Laing.
Yeah. Yeah, Laing maybe wanted that maybe 6 inches deeper, but he's on top of both those yellows. That left-hand yellow, very surprised if you ever score it. The back yellow actually appears to be shot right now, but not a particularly useful stone.
Don't worry, we'll be moving the camera in a second.
Yeah.
So you can see the overhead view.
Yeah. All right. Charlie going to try and freeze it on there. I mean, there is a chance just because Brent did leave that a little bit high.
Get an angle.
Yeah, if you just punch it 6 inches, just open things up a little bit, you might be able to do some magic later.
And spill it through there. If you can move that one yellow it's nestled up against, create a bit of a hole there between it.
Yeah. Well, and he's done it.
And
That's actually a fantastic shot.
It's a brilliant shot. It really is.
Yeah, move that yellow or the red one far enough back now that it can be moved with a good shot. Obviously, it's guarded by that red corner guard.
All right, should we do this?
I think we have to do this. All right. All right, fans, here you go. Devin's shoulder exercise du jour. Here we go again.
I'm doing the other arm now.
Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna fix it up. See, well, we get a prettier view of the two of us now too. So.
There we go. It's all about lighting, Doug.
I hope your colleagues at the CBC are all watching, appreciating that. So you can see that last shot by Charlie tapped that red back just past their side yellow, and now there's a little bit of air behind it. So with the right kind of magical shot, you could make some good things happen here. Obviously, a lot of work left to do, and Jones and Laing are going to do their best to stop it. But long conversation right now by Jennifer and Brent trying to figure out exactly where they want this freeze to come. I would expect they want to... I don't know. Do you want to freeze that top yellow? I think you do. I think if you come to the red, you might actually make the slash out easier. So we're seeing quite a bit of curl here from the inside out. So you're going to see Jennifer take ice probably middle of the forefoot. Yeah, even maybe a hair to the outside of the forefoot to have it come all the way across and freeze on the left there.
I'm just focused on making sure I'm keeping my arm up here.
Oh, good. Oh, steady camera is important. Look, we've got a quality standard that the fans demand.
Exactly.
So I want to see some applause in the chat here for Devin and the great work he's doing to show you guys this display. So it looks like we're actually going to come to the back yellow.
Well, this is a plan B.
I think so, but this is that communication, realizing what's going on. And
Rubs off a bit.
yeah, you know, there's still an opportunity here to move things around. A decent shot by Laing, but there's possibilities here. This, you know, if you call the power play, you get it set up like this, you've probably gotten what you wanted.
Yep.
Question is, when do you make your move? I think for now, yeah, you want to freeze that little pocket and create a rock that you can bonk it later and make some things rattle around. Maybe even just freeze that T-line red a little bit. Oh. Charlie wants to wiggle things around right away, or looking towards the future a bit.
What are you thinking? What do you like here, Doug?
Well, Maddie's calling for what looks to be like a little, back to my bumpy freeze again.
Bumpy freeze.
Yeah, but if you can unlock that red that's currently shot rock.
Switching arms.
Oh, there we go. Unbalanced gym works out by Devin Heroux. He doesn't. We're getting a bunch of applause for you, though.
Wonderful.
That's gonna keep you fired
I
up.
need the inspiration.
Yeah. So I think you do want to unlock those two frozen rocks back there. Get shot rock just even an inch or two away, just so it could be easily moved later. This looks like it's going to be, just based on the ice, something like a hack waiter.
Right.
Come down, cross the nose on shot rock, punch it to the back, and wiggle your shooter over a little bit. So yeah, I'd expect something like a hack weight here. Yeah, maybe even like a board weight, just based on how he's sliding out. Well, this is curling hard right away.
But remember that up weight, it's going to stay there.
Yeah. Oh, and you called it. It has, but it's this looks like a good one. Okay, didn't quite curl as much as they wanted, but gets rid of it.
But you know, there's a decision to be made here for Jones, because if you ever hit and stay right there, there's a double possibility for 3.
Absolutely, yeah. Nosing that yellow would be a big mistake. Even rolling over. So do you roll left towards the pile, or do you roll far away to the right, keep it in the 8-foot, and remove any possibility? I think she was talking like she wants to roll to the left. She wants to be line 2. And a big moment here. If this shot is missed, then Warriner and Lachal are right back in the game.
I almost think the miss is nosing. I mean, even if you hit and roll out, I don't know what they have for multiple points.
Yeah,
you know?
I can see about half of that yellow in the top 8-foot here behind.
So
it.
you're thinking get by that corner and tap it back for 3?
I think you can. Obviously, a few shots left here to come, but
That was wishful thinking on my part, thinking Jones was getting ready to throw her last.
no, I don't know if Devin's personal trainer is out there. He's going to work on the shoulder.
This is trouble here.
This could, yeah, I think this is going to, I think Brent Laing just made the shot for them.
Yeah, he certainly did. And look at this now.
Yeah, so red is second shot there. Might be a little bit hard to see
It's
with
hard to see. We
our
need
color palette.
Yeah, I'm trying to change it here, but
Oh,
now
there
you
you
can
go.
see it.
Now
Yeah,
it's
you
got
gotta
it, yeah.
you gotta move the camera a little bit. This is ridiculous.
This is fantastic.
But this is as good as it gets.
Yeah. But, I mean, if this was last rock, fairly easy shot on the left-hand side to tap back that yellow out in the 12-foot back. Fairly easy to keep the shooter for 3. So you could play it now, lie 3.
I think you have to.
I think so as well. I'm not sure what else you do. You You can maybe just play around the corner guard there left over from the power play and just freeze to your own yellow at the top. But I think, yeah, you want to make this shot now. Lie 3 if you possibly can.
Are they playing it? The tap?
I'm watching the handle here. I think they're playing this outside tap. Oh, no, they are playing. They're playing the in-turn come around. So in-turn come around, freeze/tap to their own yellow in the 8-foot there. Lie 2 and save the hero shot for later.
Oh, sorry. I was watching the shot and not where the camera was.
There you go. Focus here, Devin.
I know.
Focus. So this is a little bit hot, but it should be okay. I think we're just going to get a little chap and roll off of thing. Oh, if we could ever move that back one.
Yikes.
Oh, they might have ruined their angle to ever get to that back red.
I certainly think they did.
Yeah, so now Jennifer Jones could easily hit and roll off that open yellow, biting the 4-foot, roll into the pocket, and the chance for a big end is going to disappear. Oh, we're switching arms again.
Last arm change.
So we're hoping for extra ends here, everybody.
No, we're not. I mean, it would be something. It would be a heck of a story you'll be able to read on cbcsports.ca when this thing ends. Oh, man.
So certainly Jennifer is going to hit that open yellow. Big, huge lead. You're not going to leave wide open rocks lying around. I would expect her to try and roll left, get somewhere in front of those side yellows, take away any chance of scoring them. And then you'll be looking at some kind of a hero shot by Maddie at the end here. She might have to try it no matter where this rock ends up. I think a single point when you're down 6-0 and you've used up your power play.
That's a victory for the Jones and Laing side.
Yeah, certainly. So if there's any kind of crazy cooey shot available, you might see it tried.
This has got to move.
Yeah.
And there it goes.
Yeah, this looks just perfect. No surprise.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so that
And red is shot.
red is shot. I see no way to get rid of both reds.
It's just not fair. Look at that.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
that is a spectacular shot. I don't, even in a hero shot, I don't know how you score 2. Charlie thinks he might be able to, okay, if you slammed that top pocket,
Right.
get the last rock fired
Red
way out to the
squirts,
right,
yeah.
and does the
Yellow go back onto red.
Yeah. I mean, maybe. You certainly, you lose the side yellow. I think you're only scoring 1 if it happens, to be honest. You might score 2 if you pulled it off.
It's pretty deflating, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we're going to see the open draw for 1 here. Yeah, and you can't, that corner guard, you can't quite see it. Well, you can't see it at all on the screen here. Probably blocking that hero shot where you try and chisel that red sideways. Oh man, maybe it's there. Maybe.
What did they decide on?
This looks like the open draw to me. They did not spend a lot of time lining up those angles. I think we're going to have a nice, slow 45 second Devin arms in the air draw.
All right.
Yeah, we're just throwing the out-turn draw somewhere in the 8-foot. Put some points on the board, and then you're going to see some all-out aggression in the 6th end as much as is possible in this format. Just trying to make the draw here. Charlie's giving it a bit of a scrub, but he seems to like it. He's on again, off again. I would expect this shot looking pretty good. Pounding it now, mostly just to make sure. This looks. Oh, he's gonna have to go.
Yeah, gotta get it.
He's gonna have to go. Should be coming onto Devin's screen any moment now. Gotta go. Gotta go. Oh,
It's
I don't
short.
think so.
It's short. Yeah, it's a steal.
I think that's a steal. Yeah.
All right.
All right, Devin can finally put his arms down.
All right.
There we go. All right. No, yeah, steal a 1.
And I think we probably have one more end left.
Yeah, I would. Well, you got to score 3 here if you're going to keep playing. All right, 7-0 for Laing and Jones. And I just almost flawless execution all the way.
I mean, we talked about it at the beginning about how good Jones and Laing were feeling coming into this. We wondered about nerves coming into this game. I don't know if there was any sort of big moments, big misses that stand out, but a few inches here or there, and that is where you get, and it's 7-0.
Yeah, well, we're seeing it here. So this is the shot that Jennifer's been perfect on all game, is this opening freeze to the back. The only time she missed this was in that power play where she had to go out to our left here, onto the funny ice, and was a little bit quick with it.
But look, she's done it.
And then this happens again, and she's been putting it on the button all game, and that just creates so much pressure. Yeah, top of the button, perfectly on the center line. Great shot making by Jennifer Jones.
And she's got her mask on, but you can see her smiling. Those eyes are smiling.
Well, but yeah, the two of them, you just saw them there. They were just discussing something, focused, still paying attention. You know, we're in a, no offense to anyone, relatively minor event in September, opening of the season, and still focused, still in the game, still paying attention to the game's actually won. Right?
Yeah, and we just got away from Jennifer, and like I said, she's very happy with how this has gone today.
Well, and I think it certainly bodes well for a good season for them being able to play this way out of the gate. And there's always been a lot of talk about, for the top curling teams, that they play and they train a little bit too much, and that you can there's some value, and you saw some of the clubs do that in Olympic trials years, where they actually backed off on their schedule, played a little less, let their bodies heal, let their minds rest and heal up a little bit. And we might see some of that this year, where the top teams, yes, they're not getting the on-ice reps like they normally do, but they are getting a chance to work on the more holistic part of being an athlete.
Right.
And particularly for, two athletes like Laing and Jones that have been at the top of the game for 20 years, playing continuously. Yes, a break feels weird. Yes, she thought it was strange not to be out on the ice for 6 months, but perhaps it could be healthy. I'm an optimist at heart, so I'll put a positive spin on anything.
Listen, one of the biggest things I always hear when you have people that have to step away from the game, I think about Mark Kennedy leaving the game for a year, and he came back better than ever. And I think what happens in the midst of an injury or a mini retirement or a pandemic is that
the usual three
reasons is that you get a perspective that when you're in the throes of this week in and week out that you don't have. And how many times in a high performance sport career do you get a pause to evaluate why you first play the sport, why you fell in love with the sport, and then what you want to bring to the ice? Lisa Weigel told me that this pandemic reaffirmed how much she loves curling, and that being back out here reminded her of the joy of going into a club and just having that excitement. And we all know it, right? And so I, like you said, I'm an optimist as well, and I think in a lot of ways this has given the pros to the casual curlers sort of a chance to reimagine why we do love this sport and how you can be better at it.
Yeah, and that's a good point. You get away from the grind. I'm sure when they're on that slam, provincial, national, et cetera, spin that these big teams do, it can feel like a grind. You are in a hotel every week. You are on a plane every week. So a chance to actually, and you've said it a few times, just come back to a good old-fashioned curling club and play a weekend bonspiel.
It's awesome. It really is awesome.
Yeah. All right, so we're seeing a pretty good setup here by Warriner and Shaw. They've thrown a couple of nice rocks, top 4 foot, easy to use. But that opening freeze by Jennifer Jones just it's a rock that has to be dealt with. You've got so few rocks to do it with in the mixed doubles format. And now Laing are going to open it up. They're not going to leave anything lying around for any kind of big surprises. This is the as close as you get to the big peel game in the mixed doubles game. Yeah, and Bunny Hop, I'm with you. I wish we had a recording of that run triple for two at the last game, but
Oh, I mean, I couldn't believe it. I saw Jen's eyes light up, and I knew you know how much she loves throwing those big shots. And we went over it before they took to the ice, and she just said, "I saw it." And there's something to be said when you see the shot, right?
Right.
When you're in the hacking, you can see the shot before you throw it, and that's exactly what Jennifer did. It was what I felt the real sort of nail in the coffin in that game, because she just nailed it. The run back triple for 2, and that was it.
well, particularly in mixed doubles, I think so many of the shots are a feel thing, are a vision thing. You're almost never throwing at a broom. Your sweepers can't do as much to manage the rock for you and move it back and forth and fix your problems. It's got to be a little bit of instinct, a little bit of feel, a little bit of just vision, and then obviously the awe-inspiring talent of Jennifer Jones brings to the throw.
Right.
A heck of a combination.
And I think this is an important time for Jennifer Jones, if I'm honest with you. I think that, maybe admittedly she has had a few disappointing seasons, and
Sure.
you've got the reload with Lisa joining the team, and I know there's a renewed excitement and the rush of an Olympics trial upcoming. And so I think, as funny as this might sound, at a bonspiel in the midst of a pandemic in late September, but I think it was important for her to come out here and play well.
I agree.
And she has.
And then certainly, I hate to start the rumors now, but is this her last quadrennial? Is this her last circuit through? Certainly has the skills to keep playing for a long time, a la Glenn Howard and some others. But does she have the desire? Does she have the drive?
That's it. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be drama filled, which I enjoy. But navigating this all till we get to Beijing. It was just 500 days to Beijing just this week, and so it's just around the corner.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm going to be, if everything happens the way it's supposed to
Yes.
happen now.
So I want to interrupt you. Just
yeah.
want to point out there. So Jennifer Jones sweeping a full weight top curler male peel with her mask on. So.
And they were joking about that last night when I was in conversation with them. So made it look easy. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting next year and a half with Tokyo, and then we go right into Beijing. And I know the Canadian athletes are really excited about all of that. And of course, they want to keep training and keep focused. And the thing I keep hearing, Doug, is control what you can control, right? And
That's probably good advice for all of us.
all of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially for the top level players where curling it's their job as well as everything else and their primary source of income. It could be very easy to get stressed out and discouraged and everything else. So, yeah, focus on what you control, do what's in front of you. So actually, it was a slight miss there by Laing. He wanted the double at the top there, but didn't quite curl enough for him. So there's some room here, but starting to see Laing and Jones relax a little.
Yeah, what you couldn't see off camera is Laing wrapping his arm around his wife here behind the rings, and they're enjoying this, and they're going to enjoy these last few stones in this game, certainly.
Good double there to clear things out, but that opening freeze from Jennifer Jones just sitting there.
It's still there.
It's still there.
It would be interesting. We should have been keeping track, but how many of her opening rocks have counted?
Yes, that's true.
One thing I will say about the start of this game compared to the start of the semifinal for Warriner and Richard is when you are going against these big teams, the opening couple of ends are so crucial because you come out there, you're focused, you believe that you can play with these elite teams, for Richard and Warriner, they scored 3 in the first stand against Epping and Weagle this morning, and you could just see it, right? And they believed immediately, whereas 2 ends in, they were down 3 and gave up a steal of 2 in this game. So a very different start. And then you start getting in your head and you start wondering things. And I think that was certainly a factor here today.
Interesting decision here by Jones. She certainly could try and just pop that. Oh, she is going to. Okay. I thought she was lining up for the freeze here, which seems strange. But no, she's going to try and just pop this yellow out of the way, take away any hope of a big score here. Certainly is a chance this could jam, but not with Jennifer Jones throwing it and being as focused and in the zone as she has been. So,
well, if this is it, and we imagine it probably will be, what a pleasure, Doug.
definitely a pleasure, Devin.
I won't forget this broadcast.
Well, your shoulders should be hurting.
My
tomorrow,
shoulders
so.
will remind me.